This is the A-frame at full competition height. The pitch of the board is steep enough that any dog wanting to go fast will leap off. In competition, a judge will be on course to see if the dog touches the yellow zone. It doesn't matter to the judge how they touch the yellow, a front paw or a rear paw, even just a toenail in, and the judge is happy. The problem is the dogs can't understand touch the yellow. Most dogs, even very small dogs, when they're in a hurry, feel very comfortable leaping off without touching the yellow. Someone very smart came up with a performance the dogs can understand, and it works for all heights of dogs. The performance is commonly referred to as 2 on, 2 off.
2 on, 2 off. The dog will climb up and over the A-frame and stop at the bottom, with the 2 front feet on the grass and the 2 rear feet elevated and remaining on the board. 2 on, 2 off. If you can teach your dog to hold this position until you release them, the judge will love your dog because they are clearly in the yellow, and you may be able to use it to your advantage to get ahead and into a better position for the rest of the course.
Getting your dog to perform the 2 on, 2 off position is a much higher standard than what the judge is looking for. If we train our dogs to do the 2 on, 2 off and we don't get exactly what we wanted in competition, the judge with a much lower standard of looking for a toenail is still very happy. Aside from obviously not being a smart or safe performance by leaping off the A-frame, missing the yellow zone is a serious fault and your dog will not qualify. You can teach your dog to understand the 2 on, 2 off, but it's not easy. You will have to do your homework.
In class, the A-frame will be lowered, and we'll be using a method called back chaining. This means we will work on the end first, the end being the 2 on, 2 off position. The first and most important step in training your dog for the 2 on, 2 off is to get them to happily hold this position independent of the handler. At first, this may be very difficult for your dog to understand. When have you ever cared what they did with their feet? When do we ever manipulate our dogs around like this? Not very often, except maybe at the vet's office. It's best if you can just place your dog into this position so that they are magically there and you're just requiring them to hold the position. If your dog is big, perhaps you can just shove them into the position from the side. When your dog is in the 2 on, 2 off position, it's preferred that they stand. Sitting is acceptable if you can't get your dog to stand, but laying down will not work. Always keep in mind what the A-frame will look like at full height. Some dogs are really squirmy. The female dogs are usually easier because they will usually tolerate you propping them up from underneath like this. With the males, you'll need to be more gentle and use their chest and shoulders instead. Move your hand to the top of their back. Try to move your own feet around so that you are facing forward. Your first goal is to have your dog hold the position while you're standing up and facing forward. Your next goal is to be able to praise your dog and give them treats while they hold this position without you blocking them to stay on. You want your dog to be relaxed and happy while they're in the 2 on, 2 off position. We don't want them to think that we want them to be a statue. They need to breathe and be relaxed. 2 on, 2 off. At first you can say stay, but you need to move away from that. You need to come up with a name for this position, a unique name that means 2 on, 2 off. The word should not be stop or wait. If the word has a different meaning to you, like touch, might mean touch your hand, this also would not be a good choice for this position. Some suggestions would be bottom, to, contact. When you are done, just calmly release your dog. The exercise is over. Be neutral with the release word. The release is not exciting or praiseworthy. They only get treats when they're in the 2 on, 2 off position. Here's your homework. When you take your dog for a walk, practice a 2 on, 2 off on the curves. Work with your dog on your right side and your left side. Sometimes step off the curb, and other times stay on the curb yourself. Mix it up.
Yeah, good.
Once you get that going, get creative. Your goal is to get your dog to generalize, to do the 2 on, 2 off on all kinds of things. We want them to do it on their own. We want them to eventually offer the behavior. Your dog needs to think that they hold the key to the treat machine. Look at me. I'm doing a 2 on, 2 off. Pay up. For some reason I get treats whenever I do the 2 on, 2 off on anything.